every time. I don't know what it is. I haven't coughed all freaking afternoon. Anyway, hi, my name is Courtney, and I'm very passionate about helping women with invisible illnesses realize that you can still lead a pretty healthy and active lifestyle. It's just not going to be the one you had envisioned for yourself. The hell else are you going to do about it? So, and I told y'all last week that I might not do a video yesterday, and obviously I did not. And I could have. I took my computer and everything with me, but I went to my sorry squirrel. I went to my really good friend's house. She lived. It's so funny. She only lives an hour away, but I've barely seen her. I've barely seen her since December. In fact, I think this was the first time. But anyway, um, I was going to go up there a couple of weeks ago. She's one of the most nurturing, loving people that I am truly blessed to know. And I think most of you know I've been having just one hell of a time coming off of this stupid damn Cymbalta. I'm still a little bitter about that, but I was supposed to go up there. I don't remember if it was last weekend or the weekend before, and I just did not feel good enough. So I had the opportunity to go, and I went. And I did absolutely freaking nothing. And it was awesome. We sat around. She's very crafty and she was working on some stuff and I knitted and we just talked and I just decompressed so much. And it was amazing. And I'm very fortunate to have friends like that in my life. And I was told, look, this is a lot cheap because I could prove it. I showed him my Fitbit and I was like, look what this has done for me. Look what 2 nights here has done for me. I literally slept better the last 2 nights than I have in the past 6 months. Period. Just period. It's been so amazing. And so I was invited back anytime I need it since as it was put to me, it's just a lot cheaper than a therapist. I've done therapy. It's a lot better than a therapist all the way around. But so that's why I didn't do a video yesterday. But having that opportunity to decompress was really important and really valuable for me. And I started thinking about a lot of the things that I know I should be doing that I don't do. And one of them is journaling. Journaling is really, really beneficial. This information, by the way, is from psychcentral.com. And journaling, well, okay. This is embarrassing to admit, but like with most of my other good habits, journaling is something I'm either really good about or I'm really bad about. And when I first got to Texas, I was doing a blog and I was doing really good with it. And um, I fell off the wagon because why? Because things got tough. Things got tough and I was dealing with a lot of emotional crap that I didn't want to face. So I shut down, which of course is really stupid and does me no good. It does not serve my purpose at all to do that. But if I'm just being honest, that's where I get into a weird headspace and it's so dumb, but I refuse to do the things that I know are going to help me. So let's talk about some of the health benefits of journaling. First of all, journaling dates back, they believe, to like 10th century Japan. Well, if it's been around that long, obviously there's got to be something to it. There's increasing evidence of a positive impact on you physically. Sorry. Journaling actually can help strengthen your immune system. Why? Because for some reason, it strengthens our immune cells, certain immune cells good Lord, called T lymphocytes. It decreases asthma and rheumatoid arthritis symptoms. Well, RA is an autoimmune disease. Guess what else is an autoimmune disease? Hashimoto's thyroiditis. I have Hashimoto's thyroiditis. So obviously, journaling would probably be beneficial for me. Number one, journaling helps clarify our thoughts and feelings. Don't censor yourself. Just write. Just get it off your chest. Journaling can really help you gain a new perspective on a problem that you've been struggling with. And that alone makes it worth it. Number two, know thyself. This might sound kind of weird, but journaling is going to help you figure out what makes you feel confident and what makes you feel happy. Now you might think, well, that's ridiculous. Of course I know, but do you, I mean, truly, do you? Could you sit down and explain it to somebody right now? I will tell you, for people who have chronic illnesses, from my experience of talking to lots of people with chronic illnesses over the past 20 years or so, this is something that we struggle with because we have so many coping mechanisms in place, and we focus more on the coping than on making ourselves feel fulfilled and feel happy. So you may not know that. Journaling will help you figure that out. Journaling, this is also why it's very important for people with chronic health issues. Journaling can help you gain clarity in regards to toxic people and toxic situations. Now, I have one of my mentors. Okay, if I'm honest, she's a former mentor because as I've grown, I've just decided to go a different direction. It's not to say that her information is still not really good, because it is, but she said years ago she doesn't like the term anymore. She doesn't like to say anybody's toxic, but as Pollyanna as I can be, some people are just damn toxic. Now, that doesn't mean that they're a horrible person, but it means that for whatever reason, you and them, that you don't bring out the best in each other. It brings out, you bring out like the negativity in each other. That's not a good thing. And that is, to me, that's toxic. And you need to, don't be a jerk, but gently urge those people out of your life. Just, if they call you, I'm busy. I'm sorry, I'm busy. I'm sorry, I can't. I'm busy. And if it's someone you can't gently ease out of your life, you're going to have to learn how to set boundaries. But we'll talk about that another day. Number 3, journaling can help you solve problems. I am looking at a huge crossroads. As most of you know, I've been in Texas all winter. I've been so much happier. I get out and walk almost every single day. There's been very, very few days where the weather has been so bad that I can't get outside. Now, as a girl who grew up in Central Alaska, that alone literally makes this worth it. I absolutely love Texas. But my job that allowed me to work remotely for the past several years has decided I have to return. And if I don't return, I don't have a job. Yeah, I'm not going to go into how I feel about that. You can probably guess. But honestly, I can see their perspective to a degree. Of course, the flip side is I've done it successfully for more than 2 years. But anyway, I stopped writing in my blog right about the time I found that out because I panicked. And I'm the kind of person, when things get stressful, I shut down. It's not a healthy coping mechanism, but that's just where I go. But journaling can help you solve problems. The physical act of writing, now this does not really apply to a blog. This applies to a physical pen and paper journal. But there really is something magical that happens when you take a pen to paper. Writing occupies the analytical left brain, which frees up your creative right brain. And this can lead to creative solutions to problems that you're struggling with. And that's why we're talking about it. I've mentioned before, I discovered a few years ago, to my complete horror, I hate admitting it every damn time, but I know I'm not the only person in this situation, and it needs to be talked about. I'm addicted to anxiety. Isn't that just ridiculous? But I am. I'm addicted to the biochemical reaction of anxiety. I'm so used to that. It's my stasis, so I crave it. I want it. Isn't that horrible? What a completely crappy thing to pursue, but that's where I'm at. And as a result of being addicted to that, I end up not doing the things that I know I need to do, like looking for another remote job. If you're struggling with something and you're like, why in the hell can't I do? Why am I not doing the things I know I need to do? Honestly, keeping a journal, I feel like such an ass because I know this and yet I haven't done it in months. But keeping a journal is going to help you work through all of that. Number 4, journaling is a safe, effective way to deal with unpleasant emotions. It's an invaluable, I feel like such a dumbass saying this because I quit when things got stressful, but it's an invaluable tool for dealing with stress. It can even help you resolve disputes with other people because, again, it helps you see something from a different perspective. It helps you find another solution to a problem you've been struggling with. Journaling is really important. And yes, a pen to paper is far better. I don't know what it is, but there literally is something magical about taking a pen to paper. However, a blog is better than nothing, or an online journal is better than nothing. So how do you start? Because I got to tell you, when you first start keeping a journal, or even when you've been keeping one and all of a sudden like something big comes up, you look at that page and it's like, oh my gosh, what the hell am I going to fill this page with? Well, okay, first of all, you don't have to fill a whole page ever. You don't. There is no requirement that says you have to write so many pages. You might impose one on yourself, but you don't have to. Just write quickly and without inhibition. If it comes into your mind, write it down. Write it down. It's going to help you work through it. The most important rule to journaling, there are no rules. Don't overthink it. Don't overcomplicate this. This is cheap therapy, is what it is, at least in my opinion. Now, I'm not saying it's a substitute. If you need therapy, for goodness sakes, go get some help. But a journal is such a good way to help you process things, especially when you're under stress, especially when you're up to here with really difficult, unpleasant, complicated emotional crap. A journal can really help you work through that. Now, my advice, if you're going to start a journal, so you're stressed, you're up to here, and you just pour it all out on the page, and this sucked and that sucked, and I hate so and today was horrible, whatever it is for you. Now, for me, when I get all that out, yes, it is nice to get that off my chest, but I've just been thinking about it, and I'm a ruminator. So now that it's fresh on my mind, if I'm not careful, I'll sit there and I'll spin myself up, because that's just how I am. Like I said, I'm a ruminator. So my advice to you, if this is something you're going to try, after you've purged all those emotions and you're just, then screw this and screw that, and I hate everything, take a moment, take a deep breath, and write down 3 things that you're grateful for at the end of your journal entry. Why? Because in my experience, and keep in mind, I'm just some chick off the internet. I'm not an expert in literally anything other than dealing with chronic health issues. But in my experience, that resets. So I've just poured all my heart out, and I've got all this negative crap in the front of my brain. But if I stop and reset, okay, these are things, this was horrible, and that was horrible, and the other person, and whatever. But here are 3 things that I'm grateful for. That resets my brain. That quiets everything down, and I sleep so much better if I take a moment to do that. And, I have been so depressed. Gosh, this is horrible, because I have a pretty blessed life. I do. But I have been so depressed in the past. That's like, well, I don't have anything positive to say. Sure you do. Now, first of all, I'm not going to tell you shouldn't feel that way if that's where you are. You do have a lot more to be grateful for, but I understand if that's where you are. Well, I'm going to give you 3 basics right now. You got a roof over your head. You should be grateful. That puts you ahead of millions of people on this planet. If you have running water, guess what? You should be grateful for that. Again, that puts you ahead of millions of people. I grew up in Alaska. We have entire communities that don't have any infrastructure. What do you think happens when you're in a village that has no running water and your house catches on fire? If you can't get out, there's not a gosh damn thing anybody can do for you. I'm not trying to be morbid. I'm just telling you that's the reality of life for a lot of people. And we take that for granted. So you should be grateful. If you can go turn on a damn faucet and water comes out, you should be grateful. If you can flip on a switch and the power comes on, you should be grateful. You should be grateful you have the internet at your fingertips. You can learn anything, a lot of it for free, with a few strokes on a keyboard. Do you know how freaking blessed you are to have that ability? Because you really are. Anyway, I literally could go on about this all night, but I'm not gonna, because ain't nobody got time for that. But I'm trying to get back into a consistent schedule, and I knew yesterday was iffy, but I didn't want to just skip and not do 3 videos this week. So I will be back tomorrow at 7 o'clock Central. I hope you all have a great night. And look, if you have any questions, I'm certainly not an expert on this, but I'll be happy to share with you a lot of the resources that really made a difference for me and that enabled me to go from somebody who was really severely depressed. I mean, I was suicidal for a long time because I do deal with chronic pain. I do have chronic illnesses. I had no idea. I used to look into my future like, what the hell kind of life am I going to have? But now I know, what kind of life I'm going to have, whatever life I decide to have, whatever life I choose to make for myself. And if I can go from being that person to this person, you can too. So drop me a line if you're struggling. I'll do my best to help you and to be supportive. Of course, the flip side of that is you get what you pay for, right? Anyway, you guys have a great night, and I will be back tomorrow. Thanks. Good night.